It's a sunny day in Hawkins. The economy is looking great, and so are you, citizens. Jobs are opening up, and the unemployment rate is at an all-time low of 4.1%. This is the lowest it has been in 10 years. Golly gee.
Okay, guys, so are we going by the classical or the Keynesian rules today?
I vote classical, since I want the shifts to mainly affect price level rather than output. In the long run, we're all going to be okay. I'm trying to be optimistic, you know?
Dude, are you kidding? I already called last night that we were going to play by Keynesian rules, so that shifts affect output greater than they affect price level. And Lucas, you're wrong. We're all dead in the long run. Trying to be realistic, you know.
Alright, guys, chill. Sorry, Lucas, but Will does have a point. He did ask first, and we are all dead in the long run. Let's just start the game.
Yes! 11! My lucky number.
Alright, so because our economy is doing well, I'm going to use my magical bonds power and sell bonds on the open market. This will decrease excess reserves, which will decrease the money supply, and in turn, increase the federal funds rate. Get it?
Sure, whatever.
Anyways, this will cause interest rates to increase, which will also appreciate the dollar, decreasing real GDP due to the net exports effect. When the federal funds rate goes up,
The interest rates go up, causing consumption and investment to decrease.
this will bring us out of an inflationary gap and back to equilibrium. So when aggregate demand decreases, the price level, real GDP, and employment will all decrease. Gee guys, can you imagine if that actually happened? That'd be totally tubular.
Yeah! Real GDP is at a whopping $17.2 trillion. Can I get a ho ya? However, we are leaning towards an inflationary gap. Prices are relatively high, as the core PCE price index is at 113.6. Also, food and energy prices are high, as the headline PCE price index is 246.6. Looks like I better start cutting back on the Twinkies.
My turn. Oh Lord, help me.
11 again? That's weird.
Bread. Of course I got a bad one. Looks like we're in a recession. I'm doomed unless I use an expansionary monetary policy. I don't have the power to buy bonds, so I guess I have to move back 5 spots. This is worse than being stuck in the upside down.
Been there, done that. You son of a...
Since Trump came into office this past January, we have noticed that the dollar has depreciated. Could this possibly be because people are moving their money into foreign markets? This is seen through the U.S. foreign exchange rate, which is relatively high. 1.19 US dollars is equal to 1 euro. The effective federal funds rate, or the overnight rate at which banks charge each other for short-term loans, is 1.16%. The total non-farm payrolls employment is currently 147 million people. These workers are contributing to the exceptionally high real GDP. Good job, America. This is huge. But we are nearing inflation, so something must be done.
Oh god, there's a threat of inflation, and the Janet Yellen Gorgon is about to attack.
According to President Trump, due to the recent tax cut, middle-class families will have an extra $4,000 to spend in their incomes. As a result, aggregate demand will shift towards the right. So, we need a moderate monetary contractionary policy.
We need a moderate monetary contractionary policy! Settle down, boys. It's time to go home.
Fine. Alright, bye guys, I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. See you later.
Peace.
Bye, dude.
The next day.
Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, wait, I'm not gonna hurt you.
Few minutes later.
Are you good?
Thank you.
11? Why does it say 11? You're 11. That's your name? Well, hi 11. My name's Mike. Anyway, I don't know what kind of trouble you're in, but you can stay down here for a couple of days. Just be quiet. My mom can't find out. Oh, that? That's just my econ project for school. It's supposed to reflect current economic conditions. I hope my teacher, Mr. Medical, will like it.
That wasn't good enough. Do you really think you could bring us out of an inflationary gap and back to equilibrium?
But Papa, I'm trying.
Try harder.
Whoa, are you okay?
Not safe. Fed is after me.
The Fed? Like the place that targets the federal funds rate? Why are they after you? I won't let anyone hurt you.
Me, escaped. Contractionary powers.
How did you just do that? What?
Fed. They trained me.
Code Red, Code Red. You guys need to come over here immediately.
I ran right over.
I'm so glad you guys are here.
Who's she?
Oh, that's my distant cousin.
Your cousin? Which side of the family?
She's my mom's uncle's brother. You called me. Her name's 11. I found her outside this morning. She says she escaped from the Fed and she has contractionary monetary powers.
Okay, first she's your cousin, and now she has contractionary powers. We're leaving. That's bull!
No, it's no bull, I promise.
The only no bull that I've ever heard of is Noble Review, written by Mr. Craig Medico for Micro and Macroeconomics for the AP exam. Available for $9.99. Amazon Prime. We're leaving.
What just happened?
Okay, here's the truth.
15 minutes later.
Whoa, the Fed's corrupt.
That's a lot to digest at once.
I know, but right now we just need to focus on finding Will.
Monster. As your friend.
Okay, I think we need to get the police involved.
I'll call Hopper.
Hey there, boys! What's this I hear about little buyer gone missing?
It's true, Hopper. She saw it all.
Who's she?
It's my cousin.
She's your cousin. What's
Yeah.
your name?
Her name's Elle.
Elle?
Okay, we'll tell you what happened.
6.5 hours later.
So you're telling me that little Byers was abducted by an inflationary monster called the Janet Yellowgorgon?
Yes!
That's crazy. Well, if that's all you guys have to say, I don't believe you at all, and I'm heading back to the station.
No, wait, we're not lying.
We swear!
We'll prove it.
How?
Point at anything in the room that you want.
Well, this here hat is getting pretty old. Them earmuffs look pretty nice.
11, do your thing.
Oh my god, how'd you do this?
We told you, we're not lying.
Well, if this is true, the little buyer being abducted by the Janet Yellowgorgon also must be true.
A few moments later.
Oh my god.
What? What is it?
It's all coming together. The inflation in the game is just like the inflation in real life. I was watching the Hawkins report last night and we're in a time of inflation. This is crazy.
Oh, come on, that can't be real.
But the thing is, it makes sense because the Janet Yellowgorgon in the game only exists during periods of inflation, and we're in a time of inflation right now.
The game isn't real.
I think it is, though. An hour ago, if you had told me that 11 had powers, I totally didn't believe you. That clearly turned out to be wrong. I think this is true also.
Let's go get the Janet Yellowgorgon.
It says here that the only way to stop the Janet Yellowgorgon is to end inflation, so you would have to bring the economy back to equilibrium.
But how are we gonna do that? It's not like we could just call up the Fed and tell them to start selling bonds.
Unless... 11? 11, because you have contractionary monetary powers, you can use them to kill the Janet Yellowgorgon.
Save the economy.
And bring Will back!
Well, I do have one policy in mind that Papa taught me to use during times of inflation. First, I can make the Fed sell bonds. This will decrease excess reserves and the money supply. When the money supply is more scarce, then federal fund rates giddy on up. I can probably make the federal funds rate go up to around 2 to 2.5%. This will increase all other rates. Watch. If I can get this done, the dollar will appreciate because foreigners will demand more US dollars since bonds look more appealing, which will decrease aggregate demand and therefore price level, real GDP, and employment. This will bring the economy back to equilibrium and destroy the inflationary Janet Yellen. We can save your friend. And if that fails, Papa also trained me for this. If I can't make the banks buy the bonds, then I can probably increase the discount rate. I mean, I could also increase the reserve requirement, but that wouldn't be the best option, since this ratio doesn't really change.
It's done. The bonds have been sold.
Welcome to the Hawkins Daily News Report. Something miraculous has happened and impossible last night. The economy is surprisingly back to perfect equilibrium, and inflation is no longer a threat. Officials are still trying to figure out how so many Fed bonds could be bought in just one night. But for right now, all we can do is be grateful to the strange thing that has happened.
Do you guys hear that?
What darnation is lit a fire?
You guys aren't gonna believe me, but the Janet Yellen is real.
Oh, trust me, we believe you.
We're just so glad you're back with us.
Where did the girl with the powers go?
11? 11!
Season 2, thankfully coming never. Hawkins, wake up! Vote Roy Moore! By the way, I just want to tell you one quick thing. Cory accidentally put billion instead of trillion on the first draft, so she made us from the first world economy into a third world nation. As a result, aggregate demand will obviously shift to the left. Sorry.
And employment will all decrease.
Yeah! Been there, done that.
Good one, you son of a. Okay, time to bounce. Let's go. Bye. Peace, girl.
Bye, dude. See you tomorrow. Wait, why don't we just go see
Give me the
the
ball.
outfits now?
Give me the ball!
I really gotta be going at it.
Cory, she's a savage.
You remember when she was eating the burger in the first episode? You good? Are you cold?
Thank you.
Wait, I shouldn't say are you cold, but...
I ran right over. The only no bull that I've ever heard of is the The only noble review that I've ever heard of is Macroeconomics, written for the AP.
Action.
We're leaving.
Matt, are you
Matt, slam the door.
No, you weren't through it yet!
No,
I had something in my teeth.
wait, I'm so upset I can't even play basketball right now.
Hey there, boys! What's this I hear about little old fire gone missing? What?
You saw it all.
Who's she?
That's my...
Cory.
Is getting pretty old. Them earnuffs.
Dude, just say the...
Action. Action.
Let me do it.
No.
Action.
11.
Janet. Cory.
Team.
You're not Troy Bolton.
I am Troy Bolton.
That's enough.
Oh, God.
God, me and Kathryn will do. Are you?
11.